He needed me that night. You would have understood if you trusted me, she said after spending the night at her ex's apartment on our anniversary. I didn't reply. I just went into the bedroom and began packing. I found the ring box I had hidden in my drawer and slipped it into my pocket. She noticed it from the doorway and went pale. I walked past her and left. Hey viewers, before we continue, please subscribe to the channel and hit the like button if you want more stories like this. Thank you. I didn't yell. I didn't throw the vase she bought into the wall. I didn't demand to see her phone. When you reach a certain level of clarity, anger feels pointless. It was 8 a.m. on a Saturday. My girlfriend of 3 years, Sarah, had just come through the front door. She looked exhausted, but not in the way someone looks after saving a life at a hospital. She looked like someone who stayed up until 4 a.m. drinking cheap wine and bonding over shared drama. She dropped her keys onto the console table. The sound echoed sharply in the quiet apartment. I was sitting on the couch, wearing the same clothes from the night before, a pressed button-down shirt and slacks. I hadn't slept. "Oh, you're awake," she said, kicking off her boots. She rubbed her temples, pretending to have a headache, hoping for sympathy. What a nightmare. I'm exhausted. She walked toward the kitchen, expecting me to follow, expecting concern. When I didn't move, she stopped and turned around. The atmosphere shifted. She noticed my shirt. She saw the unlit candles on the dining table behind me. She saw the unopened bottle of vintage Cabernet, a $200 bottle, next to 2 clean, unused glasses. "Mark, please," she sighed, already irritated. "Don't do this. Don't start." "Start what?" I asked. My voice was calm, almost unsettling. The silent treatment. Jason was in a really bad place. He was spiraling. He called me panicking. If I hadn't gone over, I don't know what he might have done. Jason, her ex. The fragile one. She dated him for 2 chaotic years before me. The aspiring DJ at 24 who was still an aspiring DJ at 29. For 3 years, I had been the stable one, the engineer who paid the bills, planned trips, and fixed broken things. Jason was the crisis. The artist who only called when he was broke, high, or lonely. "It was our 3rd anniversary, Sarah," I said. "We had reservations at Le Bernardin. I booked that table 4 months ago." She rolled her eyes. Actually rolled them. "I know, and I feel bad about dinner," she said. "But this was life or death, Mark." He was talking about ending it. What kind of person ignores that for a dinner reservation? There it was, the shift. She was framing me as the villain for caring about our milestone. "So he was suicidal?" I asked. "Yes." He was hysterical. "Did you call 911? She froze. "What? If he was an immediate danger to himself, you should have called emergency services." "Did you?" "No, Mark. I didn't call the police on him. He just needed someone to talk to. He needed company." I stood and walked toward her. As I got closer, I noticed the smell. Not disinfectant or a hospital waiting room. It was unmistakable, stale vape smoke, spilled IPA, and underneath it all, the strong musky scent of Santal 33. Jason's cologne. "You smell like a bar," I said. Her face flushed deep red. After he calmed down, we had a drink to relax. We fell asleep watching a movie on the couch. "Nothing happened. You skipped our anniversary to get drunk with your ex because he was lonely." "He needed me," she shouted, her voice cracking. "God, you're so insecure. You can't handle that I care about people. You would have understood if you actually trusted me instead of being jealous." That sentence ended it. "You would have understood if you trusted me." I looked at her closely. I noticed the leftover eyeliner. The defensive posture. She wasn't remorseful. She felt entitled to my patience, my stability, while she sought emotional excitement from her past. She wanted to rescue a man who refused to grow up, and expected me to fund the life she returned to. I said nothing more. I turned and went into the bedroom. Mark. Mark, where are you going? She followed, her voice rising. I pulled my suitcase from the closet and placed it on the bed. Oh my God, you're kidding, she laughed sharply. You're packing because I helped a friend? You're being dramatic. I opened the sock drawer. Mark, stop. Talk to me. I reached beneath the thick hiking socks and felt the cool velvet box. I pulled it out. Navy blue. Inside was a platinum ring with a 1.5-carat solitaire diamond. I'd spent 6 months saving. Drove 2 hours to the right jeweler. I planned to propose over dessert the night before. I turned around. Sarah stood in the doorway, ready to argue, until she saw the box. Her mouth stayed open, but no words came out. Her face drained of color. The confidence disappeared, replaced by realization. She looked at the box. Then the suitcase. Then me. Mark, she whispered. Is that where you going to? I didn't answer. I didn't open the box. She didn't deserve to see it. I slipped it into my pocket. I packed 3 days of clothes, my laptop, and toiletries. I zipped the suitcase. No, 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 she stammered, stepping forward. Wait. You were going to propose? I stepped aside as she reached for my arm. Please. Let's talk, she said, panicking now, blocking the door. Tears came quickly, real tears this time. Not manipulation, but loss. I didn't know, she said. If I had known, I never would have answered his call. I paused just long enough to look at her. That's the problem, Sarah, I said quietly. You shouldn't have needed a ring to know that. You can't just leave. We live together. Mark, I love you. I opened the door. Mark, she screamed, loud enough to wake the neighbors. I stepped outside, closed the door gently, and listened to the lock click. I walked down the stairs, got into my car, and drove away. No radio. Just silence. I felt lighter than I had in years. The first 48 hours were a lesson in modern digital harassment. I checked into a basic hotel about 20 minutes from my office. Quiet. Nothing special. I sat on the stiff bed watching my phone vibrate across the nightstand. Sarah, 12 missed calls. Sarah, 14 texts. The messages followed a predictable pattern. Not grief, loss of control. Phase 1, denial and bargaining. Please answer. I'm shaking. I can't breathe. I blocked Jason. I'll prove it. Come home. Couples go through rough times. Don't throw away 3 years over a misunderstanding. Phase 2, anger. You're immature. Ghosting me is cowardly. You never loved me. You were looking for an excuse. Phase 3, the messengers. By Sunday, her friend Jessica called. I answered once, needing to know if Sarah was stable. Mark, stop this cruelty, Jessica snapped. She's on the floor crying. You can't wave a ring in her face and abandon her. That's abuse. I stared out the hotel window at slow-moving traffic. I didn't wave it, I said calmly. I packed it. It's mine, just like the rent she'll need next month. You're heartless, Jessica said. She made a mistake. She was being a good friend. Jessica, I said quietly. She came home smelling like his cologne and stale beer. She didn't save a life. She went on a date. I told Jessica to inform Sarah that she had until the end of the month to sort out the lease. I would pay my portion until then. After that, she would be responsible on her own. I ended the call and blocked Jessica's number. Then I blocked Sarah's sisters. After that, I muted notifications from our mutual friends. I went back to work on Monday feeling detached. IF. By Wednesday, my silence seemed to disrupt something in Sarah. Her messages stopped being angry and became desperate. I miss you. The apartment feels empty. I found your grey hoodie. It smells like you. I'm sleeping in it. I didn't respond. I didn't feel the need to. The image of her face when she saw the ring box stayed with me. It gave me the closure I didn't realize I needed. It confirmed that she understood the scale of what she lost. Anything I said would have weakened that moment. About 3 weeks later, I stopped by the apartment to collect the rest of my belongings. I planned it for a Tuesday morning when I knew she had a team meeting. The place was in disarray. It looked neglected. Takeout boxes covered the coffee table, and laundry was piled on the couch. It reflected her mental state. I packed my books, my espresso machine, and the remainder of my clothes. As I loaded the final box into my car, my neighbor, Mrs. Gable, walked by with her pug. Mrs. Gable functioned as the building's unofficial observer. "Mark," she called, walking over. "I haven't seen you lately. Is everything okay?" Sarah's had company quite often. I paused. "I moved out, Mrs. Gable. We broke up." She leaned in slightly. "I thought so. That young man with the loud car has been parking in your space and playing music late. I almost reported it, but I didn't want to cause problems for you." "Jason?" "Of course." It hadn't even been a month, and he had already settled in. I felt briefly sick, then relieved. It was no longer my responsibility. "Feel free to report it," I said with a small smile. "I'm off the lease as of the 1st. It's not my space anymore. I learned the rest over the following months through mutual contacts. You know how it goes, people talk after a few drinks." Once I was gone, Sarah leaned on Jason for the emotional and financial support I had provided. She expected him to rise to the occasion. She believed their relationship had been limited by my presence and see. When she asked him to contribute or clean, he used the same excuses he had always used. "You're blocking my creativity. You're too rigid. Stop acting like my mother." The irony was undeniable. The situation ended in the 4th month. I was out for drinks with my friend Dave, who still followed Sarah on Instagram. "Man," Dave said, sliding his phone toward me. "Look at this." It was an Instagram story, plain text on a black background in small white font. A clear sign of distress. It's strange how you can destroy the best thing in your life for someone who treats you as optional. Lesson learned. "I'm sorry. She broke up with Jason?" I asked, taking a sip of my beer. "Better," Dave said, smiling. "Jason cheated on her with a 19-year-old club promoter. She had come home early and found them together." I laughed. I couldn't stop myself. It was a brief, sharp laugh. "She's been asking about you," Dave said carefully. "She knows I'm seeing you tonight. She wanted to know if you're dating anyone." I thought about the woman I'd met at the rock climbing gym a few weeks earlier, Elena. She was a pediatric nurse. Funny, straightforward, and well put together. We'd been on 3 dates. No drama. No unresolved past. Just easy, natural connection. "Tell her I'm doing great," I said. "And tell her I sold the ring." Dave raised his eyebrows. "You sold it?" "Yeah. Last week." "What did you do with the money?" "I bought that vintage Ducati I've been talking about for 5 years," I said, motioning for the check. Sarah always claimed motorcycles were too dangerous. She never wanted me to get one. I stood up and put on my jacket. "Turns out," I said, "she was the risky one." 6 months passed. If you've never rebuilt your life from the ground up, I can tell you, it's surprisingly addictive. The first month is brutal. The second is effort. By the third, you realize how much unnecessary weight you were carrying. I wasn't just free of Sarah. I was free of the anxiety she disguised as passion. Free from managing her moods, her crises, her doubts. I threw myself into everything I'd postponed. I worked harder, but more efficiently. I was promoted to senior project manager, along with a substantial raise. I took the Ducati on weekend rides up the coast, letting the wind clear out the last traces of the past. And I started seeing Elena seriously. It was different. Calm. When Elena had a rough day at the hospital, she didn't withdraw or lash out. She talked about it. We ordered Thai food and watched bad sci-fi movies. No games. No loyalty tests. Just two adults building something steady. One Tuesday evening, I was at an upscale furniture store downtown, shopping for a new sectional for my condo, a place I bought with my own money and furnished to my taste. No beige pillows. No live, laugh, love signs. I was testing the firmness of a charcoal leather sofa when I felt eyes on me. It's instinctive, you know when you're being watched. I turned around. Near the entrance stood Sarah, looking like a shadow of who she used to be. Diminished was the only word that fit. She wore old yoga pants and a stained hoodie. Her hair was pulled into a rushed, uneven bun. She looked exhausted, like the past 6 months had aged her years. She held a cheap iced coffee and stared at me as if I weren't real. I didn't panic. I didn't feel a rush of emotion. I felt indifferent. She hesitated, then walked over. Her steps were unsure, missing the confidence she once carried. "Mark," she said quietly. "Sarah," I replied with a polite nod. "How are you?" She blinked, clearly unsettled by my calm. She'd expected anger or nostalgia. Indifference caught her off guard. I'm okay," she said, unconvincingly. Her eyes scanned my outfit, a tailored jacket, solid boots, then the expensive sofa. "You look really good." "Happy?" she asked. "I am," I said. "I really am." She bit her lip, clearly searching for an opening. "I heard about the promotion," she said. "Dave told me." "Congratulations. You always worked so hard." "I always said you'd run that place someday." "You actually said I worked too much and lacked spontaneity," I corrected gently. "But thank you." She winced. "Mark, can we talk for 5 minutes? I tried texting you. I blocked you, Sarah." "I know. I deserved that." She stepped closer, crossing into my space. The smell of stale coffee and desperation was obvious. "But I need you to hear this. I messed up badly. Jason was a mistake. A huge mistake. I checked my watch, not to assert anything, but because I genuinely had dinner plans." "I know," I said. "I heard. He was abusive," she continued. "Emotionally. He used me. Drained my savings. I'm staying on Jessica's couch because I couldn't afford the rent alone." Her eyes filled with tears. "I realized something," she said. "Every time he treated me badly, I thought of you. How safe I felt with you. How you never made me anxious." She reached out, her hand hovering near my arm. "I miss us. I miss my best friend. I know I broke your trust, but people change. I've changed. We can start slowly. I can fix this." This was the moment she had practiced, the appeal. I looked at her hand. Then at her face. I remembered the anniversary. I remembered her standing in the hallway, smelling like him, calling me insecure for having boundaries. "Sarah," I said evenly, "do you remember what you told me that morning when you came home?" She frowned. I said a lot of things. You said I would have understood if I trusted you." She nodded quickly. "Yes. And I know that was wrong." "No," I said, stopping her. "You weren't wrong." She froze. "What?" "You were right," I said. "If I had trusted you, I would have been foolish. Instead, I trusted myself. And I understood exactly what I needed to do." I stepped back, creating space. "I don't hate you, Sarah. I don't think about you enough to hate you. But we aren't starting over. We aren't anything. You chose chaos. I chose peace. And I'm not giving that up to fix your mistakes." Her face collapsed. "But the ring," she said. You wanted to marry me. You can't just turn that love off. I didn't turn it off, I replied. You ended it. That morning, you looked me in the eye and chose him. The ring was just an object. After that, I sold it. I added, it paid for the down payment on this condo. So, in a way, you did help build my future, just not the one you imagined. She opened her mouth, but nothing came out. She looked around the store, at the furniture, at the life she could have had, at the man she lost for someone who later cheated on her with a teenager. I have to go, I said. Elena is waiting. We're making dinner. Elena, she repeated quietly. My girlfriend, I said. The word felt right. We trust each other. It's refreshing. You should experience that someday. I turned away. I didn't wait. I didn't look back. I walked toward the exit, into the cool evening air, toward my bike, and toward a future that finally belonged to me. Behind me, the store was silent, and it felt right. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. What are your thoughts on this story? Share them in the comments.